All right, so you're ready to launch a business, huh?
Sounds like it.
Well, you've obviously got great taste because you're digging into how to start a business, a step-by-step guide for 2025.
A classic.
It is, but honestly, who has time to read a whole guide these days?
Yeah, they can get pretty dense.
Exactly. So that's where we come in.
To the rescue.
Exactly. We're going to pull out the absolute key takeaways for you.
The good stuff.
Yep. And one thing that really stood out to me was the section on, like, your why.
Well,
it's not just about, like, what you're doing, but, like, why you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. The guide actually makes a really smart distinction there. They talk about, like, your personal why versus the market's why.
Okay.
So your personal why is, like, your passion, your drive, what makes you tick.
Right.
It might even be like scratching your own itch, like solving a problem you personally have.
I like that.
But then there's the market's why.
Oh, okay.
That's all about filling an actual need in the market. Is there even a demand for what you're offering?
So, like, I might be, like, super passionate about, underwater basket weaving.
Sure.
But if, like, nobody wants to buy underwater baskets, then it's not really a business, is it?
Not a very sustainable one, at least.
Right. And the guide actually talks about franchising, too, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, franchising is kind of a unique beast.
Yeah.
Because you're working within a pre-existing system.
Right.
But even then, they emphasize how important it is to understand your why.
It's almost like even if you have the perfect blueprint for the house, you still need the motivation to actually, like, build it.
I love that analogy because it's all about your commitment, your drive. It's what keeps you going when things get tough. And believe me, they will get tough.
Oh, yeah, they definitely will.
A franchise might give you the structure, but it's that personal why. That's the fuel.
I like that. That's really good. Okay, so we've got the why figured out.
Yeah.
What about the dreaded business plan? I have to admit, those two words usually make my eyes glaze over a little bit.
I hear you. Most people think of it as like this big formal document, just a chore.
Yeah, a necessary evil.
But this guide frames it a lot differently. It's more like a strategic roadmap.
Okay.
It emphasizes doing real in-depth market research, like really getting to know your ideal customer. What do they want? What are their pain points? How can you solve their problems?
So it's less about just writing a document and more about, like, actually thinking strategically.
Exactly. And here's something I didn't expect. The guide actually talks about planning your exit strategy from day one.
Wait a minute. Before you even start, isn't that kind of putting the cart before the horse?
It might seem that way, but honestly, it's genius because it forces you to think long term. What are your ultimate goals for this business? Do you want to build it up and sell it, pass it down to family, maybe even just wind it down comfortably when you're ready to retire?
So it's less about knowing exactly how you'll exit.
Right.
And more about having that vision guiding your choices from the beginning.
Exactly. It's like having a compass, Even if you don't know the exact route, the compass keeps you heading in the right direction.
Okay. I can see how that would be helpful. All right. So we've got our why, we've got our roadmap. Now let's talk about the fun part, numbers. Specifically, the break-even analysis. I'm really curious about that section because it feels like more than just a math equation,
Absolutely. And don't worry, the formula itself is pretty simple. It's fixed costs divided by average price per unit minus variable costs. That equals your break-even point.
Okay, but how do we actually, like, use that information?
So imagine you're opening that underwater basket weaving studio we talked about earlier.
Right.
Your fixed costs are things that stay the same each month, no matter how many baskets you make. So like rent, utilities, maybe you had to buy some specialized equipment.
Oh, and let's not forget insurance. Always got to have insurance.
That's a good point. And then you've got your variable costs, which change depending on how much you produce.
So for each basket, it would be like the cost of the reeds, the waterproof sealant.
Exactly. So let's say your fixed costs are like $2,000 a month. Each basket costs you $5 to make, and you're selling them for $25 a piece.
Okay, I'm following so far.
So you plug those numbers into the formula, and you find out you need to sell 100 baskets a month to break even, meaning you're not making a profit, but you're not losing money either.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. You can play with those numbers. What if you raise the price of your baskets to $30?
Oh, okay.
Suddenly you only need to sell 80 baskets to break even.
Oh, I see.
Or you could try to find a cheaper supplier for your reeds.
Right, to bring down those variable costs.
Exactly. So it's not just about figuring out that magic number.
Yeah.
It's about using the break-even analysis as a tool to make strategic decisions about your pricing, your costs, and ultimately your profitability.
That is super cool. I never thought about it like that. Okay, so we've got our why figured out. Our business plan is in the works.
Yeah.
We're crunching numbers like pros. But what about the legal stuff? The guide mentions sole proprietorships, LLCs, corporations. It's enough to make your head spin.
It definitely can be overwhelming. There are a lot of options out there. The good news is the guide does a good job of laying out the basics, explaining the pros and cons of each structure.
Okay, good.
But the most important thing is that there's no one right answer for everyone.
Oh, right, of course.
It really depends on your specific situation, like how much risk you're comfortable with, how much liability protection you need, and even your tax situation can play a big role.
So like a freelancer working from home might just go with a simple sole proprietorship.
Right, exactly.
But someone starting a tech company with investors might need a more complex structure, like a C Corp or something.
Yeah, that's a good example. And the guide also helps you figure out all the other legal stuff, too, like the licenses and permits you might need.
Oh, good, because that stuff can be a real headache.
Oh, yeah. It varies so much depending on what kind of business you have and where you're located.
Does the guide cover all 50 states?
Not specifically, but it gives you some really great resources to point you in the right direction. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for legal compliance.
I like that. Okay, so we've navigated the legal jungle. We've got our paperwork in order. Now let's talk about building the dream team. I love that the guide actually emphasizes the people side of things. You know, it's not just about the business idea, it's about the people who bring it to life.
Totally. I mean, at the end of the day, business is all about people, right?
Right.
So the guide talks about the importance of not just hiring, but really cultivating a team, clearly defining roles, establishing a culture of open communication and feedback, and making sure that everyone feels valued and appreciated.
It's like building your own little Justice League,
I love that.
Each member with their own unique superpowers working together to achieve something amazing.
That's a great way to put it. But even the Justice League needed help sometimes, right? They had their allies.
True.
That's where vendors come in.
Oh, yes, the vendor.
And the guide really stresses the importance of choosing your vendors carefully, especially the ones handling sensitive data like payment processing or customer information.
Right, because you're putting a lot of trust in those companies.
Exactly. You're essentially partnering with them. So you want to make sure they align with your values, that they have a proven track record, and that they're going to treat your data and your customers with the same care and respect that you would.
So it sounds like it's not just about finding the cheapest option, it's about finding the right fit.
Exactly. These vendors should feel like an extension of your team, not just some faceless service provider.
I like that. Makes sense. All right, so we've got our dream team assembled. We're all set up with our awesome vendors. Now, how do we get the word out? The guide has a whole section on branding and advertising. And I have to say, that feels extra relevant these days with all the digital noise out there.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah.
But that's why this section is so valuable. It really dives into how to create a brand that stands out, how to craft marketing messages that resonate with your ideal customer, and of course, how to navigate the ever-changing world of digital marketing.
So we're talking websites, social media, content marketing, maybe even a CRM system to manage all those customer relationships.
It can definitely seem overwhelming. But remember we talked about that strategic roadmap? This is where all that market research you did comes in handy. Because you can't just blindly throw things out there and hope they stick. You need to understand your target audience inside and out.
Right, so you can create content and messaging that actually speaks to their needs and interests.
Exactly. It's all about connecting with the right people in the right way.
And of course, we can't forget about the legal side of things, especially when it comes to things like email marketing.
Oh, yeah, good point. The Planned Spam Act is still alive and well in 2025.
I figured as much.
You can't just blast out emails to everyone you know. You need to have proper opt-in forms and make sure you're following all the regulations.
Right, because nobody wants a hefty fine from the FTC.
Exactly. The guide does a good job of reminding you about all that. And it even provides some resources to help you stay compliant.
Thank goodness. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the power of the why, to the intricacies of a business plan, to the magic of break-even analysis, to navigating the legal landscape and building an awesome team, and then on to the exciting world of branding and marketing. I have to say, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed.
It's a lot to take in, for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, a little overwhelm's a good sign.
Oh, really? How so?
It means your brain is engaged, you're thinking critically about all these different aspects of starting a business, and that's exactly what we want.
Okay, I like that perspective. But before we wrap things up for part one, I have to ask you this.
Yeah, a little overwhelmed just means you're really processing all this information.
True, true.
And the thing is, you don't have to figure everything out all at once.
That's a relief.
This guide is meant to be something you come back to again and again as you move through the different stages of starting and growing your business.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like a living document. Speaking of living documents, this whole idea of like having a growth mindset and being adaptable, that really seems to be a big theme throughout the guide.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 2025 or any year for that matter, things are changing so quickly in the business world.
Yeah, it feels like every time you turn around, there's a new trend or a new technology or a new challenge.
Exactly. And that's why the guide emphasizes the importance of not getting stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Being open to new ideas, new approaches, even being willing to completely pivot if necessary.
So it's not just about having the perfect plan from the get-go.
Nope.
It's about being able to roll with the punches and adapt.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, the only constant is change.
So true. Okay, so just to kind of recap what we've learned so far from this awesome guide.
Yeah, let's do a little recap.
We started with the power of the why.
Right.
And how important it is to not just be passionate about your business idea, but to also make sure there's an actual need for it in the market.
You got to make sure those two whys line up.
Exactly. Then we talked about the business plan.
Which isn't as scary as it sounds.
Not all. It's more like a strategic roadmap.
Right. It helps you lay out your goals, your strategies, your milestones.
And even your exit strategy, which we learned is actually super helpful to think about from the beginning.
It might feel counterintuitive, but it really helps you clarify your vision.
Totally. And then, of course, we got into the nitty-gritty of numbers with the break-even analysis.
Which is such a powerful tool.
Seriously, I'm still kind of geeking out over that whole concept.
I know, right? It's not just about knowing when you'll break even, but it's about being able to use that formula to make strategic decisions about your pricing, your costs, your whole business model.
Yeah, you can play with those numbers and actually see how different choices affect your profitability.
Exactly. It puts you in the driver's seat.
We also touched on the legal side of things, which can feel a bit overwhelming at times.
For sure. There's a lot to navigate.
But the guide did a good job of breaking it down, explaining the different legal structures and helping you figure out which one makes sense for your specific situation.
And it provided some great resources to help you with things like licenses and permits.
Which is super helpful because that stuff can be a real pain.
No kidding.
Then we moved on to building a stellar team.
Which is so important.
It is. The guide emphasized the importance of not just hiring the right people, but also creating a positive and supportive work environment.
Right, where everyone feels valued and empowered.
Exactly. And then, of course, we can't forget about those awesome vendors who are like our trusty sidekicks.
Always there to lend a helping hand.
Exactly. The guide really stressed the importance of choosing vendors carefully, especially the ones handling sensitive data.
You're essentially bringing them into your inner circle.
Right. So you want to make sure you trust them and that their values align with yours.
Absolutely. And then finally, we landed on the exciting world of marketing.
Where we get to share our awesomeness with the world.
Exactly. We talk about branding, messaging, content marketing, digital strategy, the whole shebang.
And how important it is to really understand your target audience so you can create campaigns that actually resonate with them.
Right. It's not just about shouting into the void.
It's about having those meaningful conversations.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here. It's like we've taken a whirlwind tour through the entire entrepreneurial landscape.
I'm feeling inspired, but also a little tired.
Well, that's what happens when you exercise those brain muscles.
True, true. Okay, but before we completely exhaust ourselves, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Oh, what's that?
You were talking about how this guide really emphasizes the importance of having a growth mindset and being adaptable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that's been sticking with me, because it feels like that's the secret sauce.
You're definitely on to something. It's not just about the knowledge or the skills, it's about that underlying mindset.
Right. It's about being open to learning from your mistakes, being willing to pivot when necessary, and always striving to grow and evolve.
Exactly. It's that entrepreneurial spirit that separates the successful from the stagnant.
I love that. So, in a way, this guide is like a foundation.
Okay.
It provides you with the basic tools and knowledge you need to get started.
The building blocks.
Exactly. But then it's up to you to build on that foundation, to adapt and grow, and ultimately create something truly amazing.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Because it highlights that sense of ownership and agency.
Yeah.
It's your business, your journey, and you get to decide what you build with those tools.
That's so empowering. Okay, before we get too philosophical here, I do want to bring up one more thing that really intrigued me.
Oh yeah, I'm all ears.
You mentioned earlier about an unexpected skill or trait that might be essential for entrepreneurs in 2025.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking about that.
And I'm dying to know what it is. What's that secret ingredient, that X factor that sets the truly exceptional entrepreneurs apart?
Well, I think in 2025, and really moving forward, the most successful entrepreneurs are going to be the ones who are masters of storytelling.
Storytelling. Huh, that's not what I was expecting.
I know, right? It might seem a little out of left field,
Yeah, it does.
but think about it. We are absolutely bombarded with information these days.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Ads, social media, news articles, blog posts, it's all vying for our attention.
It's exhausting.
It is. And that's why storytelling is so crucial, because it cuts through all that noise.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So it's not enough to just have a great product or service or even a solid business plan.
Right.
You have to be able to communicate your vision in a way that connects with people on an emotional level.
I see where you're going with this.
And stories are the most powerful way to do that.
So it's not just about presenting the facts.
Right.
It's about weaving those facts into a narrative that people can relate to.
Exactly. It's about humanizing your brand, making people feel something.
Okay, so like if you're pitching your business to investors,
Yeah.
it's not enough to just show them a bunch of spreadsheets and projections.
Nope.
You need to tell them a story that makes them believe in your vision.
Absolutely. It's about painting a picture of the future you're creating, a future that they want to be a part of.
And it applies to marketing too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like instead of just listing features and benefits,
Yeah.
you're telling a story that makes people feel something, that makes them want to buy your product or use your service.
Exactly. Think about the brands you love, the ones that really resonate with you. They're not just selling you something. They're telling you a story.
Wow, this is really making me think differently about my whole approach. You know, it's not just about what I'm building. It's
Right.
about how I communicate that vision to the world.
Exactly. And that's where storytelling becomes such a powerful tool.
It's like a superpower.
It is. And it's a skill that can be learned and honed.
Okay, good, because I need to work on my storytelling skills for sure.
We all do. But the good news is that there are tons of resources out there to help you become a better storyteller.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I've learned so much more than just a summary of how to start a business.
That's what we aim for.
It's like you've given me a whole new framework for thinking about entrepreneurship.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it's all about. It's not just about the information. It's about the connections you make, the insights you glean, and ultimately how you apply all of that to your own unique journey.
So to recap, we've explored the power of the why, the strategic importance of a business plan, the magic of break-even analysis, the ins and outs of the legal landscape, the art of building a dream team, and the ever-evolving world of marketing.
We covered a lot.
We did, and we landed on this unexpected but crucial insight, the power of storytelling.
Which is kind of a perfect way to tie it all together.
It is. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I want to thank you for joining us and for sharing your wisdom.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, this is just the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey.
Exactly. There's so much more to learn and explore.
So keep that growth mindset. Keep learning, keep adapting, and most importantly, keep telling your story.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.